America's workforce. Its strength is our nation's success. Join Ronnie Spellman on I Build America podcast as we explore innovative solutions and inspiring stories from leaders and workers shaping America. Discover actionable insights to build a motivated workforce.
Welcome to the I Build America podcast. I am here with the wonderful mayor of Virginia Beach, Bobby D.
How you doing? Thank you, and welcome to the beach.
It's a wonderful place. Most people listening to the program might not realize, but I was born in the Hampton Roads area. So coming here from Texas is delightful. What you've done here in Virginia Beach is just amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not the mayor, it's the people.
Right.
You know, we're very proud of the fact that we got acknowledged by Forbes magazine as we're best quality of life in the country. And U.S. News said we're number one on the East Coast, number
That's
8
amazing.
in the country. It's the people. It's the people that live here, work here, and have their businesses here. And that's where the workforce development is so critical, finding people to work in the businesses.
It is. I'd love to have you tell me about the city, and then we get into some of the workforce development. But this morning I woke up in the hotel, which is right on the ocean front, the smell of the water, the sound of the waves rumbling. It was delightful to be back on the ocean.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are blessed with a plethora of natural resources, and we got quite a place here, and we're very proud of it.
You grew up in the Northeast.
Yep,
and then
North New Jersey,
and then became a Marine.
Yep.
I love it. You were in the service for a few years, and then you relocated or stayed in Virginia Beach after your service in the military.
No, actually, I went back to work in New Jersey, and I was, worked as a physical therapist and became an administrator, and then I was a vice president of Meadowlands Hospital, which was right by Giant Stadium. Then in a merger acquisition in 1989, I got downsized out of a job, came down to visit a friend, and bought a house, never left.
So you joined the city council. I think you're on 14 years city council?
I got elected to city council in 2004, and then I was elected mayor in 2018.
That is amazing. So you've been mayor for quite a while. But tell us how to describe the city for those that are across the country listening to you talk about the city. How large is it? What industries do you have here? It's a great community.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're the largest city by population. About 460,000 people live here. But the most amazing thing, and part of the DNA and, just part of the foundation of the military, especially the Navy. Right. We have a very strong Navy presence. For instance, right in Virginia Beach, we got Oceana Naval Air Station,
right,
the Dam Neck Annex, and Naval Station Little Creek, which are all vital to national defense. Yeah. And when you put the energy and synergy of what we have at the naval base in Norfolk, we're at the focal point of being very important in terms of national defense.
And I don't know if it's still the case. I hadn't looked it up before we had a conversation, but the Norfolk Naval Base was one of the largest, if not the largest naval base in the world. It's a massive facility. And Hampton Roads is home to so many military personnel from the Army and the Navy and the Marines. It's a huge facility and critical, as you mentioned, to our defense.
Well, as part of being on the board of directors of the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, I am in a group called HRMFA, the Hampton Roads Military Federal Facilities Alliance. And we work with every branch between here and Fort Eustis Langley. We work on, things like trying to find affordable housing, daycare, and just making the quality of life better.
And that's critical. So you've been around workforce development, serving on the board. And what are you seeing? I know across the country, we're trying to change the conversation around workforce development because there's so many opportunities to collaborate, so many opportunities for communities and cities to learn from what Virginia Beach is doing relative to workforce development. But you've been in this space for a while, trying to figure out how to make sure that our young people graduating out of high school are prepared. You have some great universities and colleges and community college systems, probably one of the best. The library system is one of the best in the country. But you've been looking at ways to make sure people have the skills and the opportunity to build a life and a career.
Well, I think that's mission essential. We cannot run a country or a city or a business without workforce.
Right.
And I think it's mission critical that we understand, but let's just say one of the best a lot of people that are in the military here and retire want to stay. So we have programs like Skill Bridge, where even before they get out of their active duty, they can actually start working with a company and develop it. And I also started a program called the Hope Pipeline, helping our people excel. And what we want to do is get youth. We want to get them young. And we want to make sure that they have mental health and physical health and mentoring. But the other thing is, let's get these young folks into jobs and careers.
Right.
Give them a pipeline that upon graduation from high school, they might make up to $75,000 a year in a skilled trade, and give them the quality of life they deserve.
Right. And you're finding a way to do it with balance. And so you're giving people good recreation. As you mentioned, you have great natural places to visit, the different botanical gardens and museums that are in the community and surrounding communities is just incredible. But you're right about that career piece. And you mentioned something that I think a lot of people may not understand, those wraparound services, the mental health services. And workforce development is more than just a single job. It's making sure that that entire quality of life is there in support system. So they're getting good housing. And I think Virginia Beach has wonderful housing. But tell us anything more that you're doing from a Virginia Beach leadership standpoint in that workforce, housing, mental health, because the program you mentioned sounds great.
Well, let me put it this way. There's a national housing crisis.
Right.
Skyrocketing prices to build homes with, regulations that we have to deal with. Every home, Wells Fargo determined that every home built has a $93,000 regulatory price tag with it that raises the cost of
$90,000.
Yeah, but it's a national thing going on. As a matter of fact, I read an article recently in Vancouver, Canada. The price of housing is through the roof.
Right.
But once again, we were able to attract Amazon to come here, and they are building huge facilities in this region, but especially Virginia Beach.
Right.
They're building a facility with 4,000 robots in it.
Right.
But once again, you need a skilled workforce.
You do.
But you also have to think of the bigger picture. You got to think about where they're going to live, the quality of life, the safety, the schools. A lot of it goes into the equation.
It does. And I've worked with a lot of economic development boards across the country and chambers of commerce. That facility that you mentioned, I think it's a two-part facility, if I remember correctly. I visited and driven down that area. But for Amazon, that's huge. How did you even attract Amazon?
Well, you let people know we're open for business. I mean, we have companies like Acoustical Metal that built a brand new factory on their own campus because they like it here.
Nice.
They're a major, focal point for Steel Corporation.
Right.
They not only manufacture, but they're getting ready to invest more in the transition from gas power to electric. But, they're a very, very key partner with us for over 50 years.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah. And the idea is, companies are not going to come here unless you have a quality of life. And then especially now, with stormwater management and things of that nature. And they want to make sure, like I said, safety, schools, very important.
Very critical. And I want to come back to your K through 12 schools because they're amazing. But one of the unique things that just popped in my mind, and I hadn't looked at this for a long time, and people might not recognize it, but I think that transatlantic pipeline that comes through the ocean for communications lands in Virginia Beach as well.
That is correct.
Yes.
With Global Links, we just recently did the groundbreaking for a couple of subsea cables coming in. And these cables are so up to date. And it's amazing how many companies want to come in to be near, to save a minuscule second, a minuscule of a second. From what I understand, the cables have a capacity, I believe it's from Marseille, France, to send every motion picture, every made in history in less than 5 minutes.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. So Virginia Beach is so critical in a lot of different ways. And I now that I'm traveling the country even more to speak with people about workforce development, it's so neat to see what different communities are doing. The United States is just an incredible place to visit and tour, and Virginia Beach is at the top of that list for so many different reasons. But we spoke about schools briefly. We have some of the top schools here. You've done an incredible job. The other thing that people might not recognize, your recreation facilities are top notch of anywhere in the entire country. And you've renovated all of your rec centers, I believe, or at least the vast majority of them,
And
just
we're
to add to that quality of life from a workforce development, a family and community development.
It makes you for a healthy community.
Yes.
And the other thing is we were entertaining, building an arena and maybe getting a national basketball or hockey franchise here. But instead, we pivoted, and then we're looking on youth sports to come from all over, whether it be for soccer, whether it be for softball. We built a sports center that has the ability to have neither 14 basketball or volleyball courts. We have indoor certified AAU track and field. We just had a Division I, tournament there, and just wrestling and then what we're trying to do is to make the oceanfront a year round. We just did an opening on the new dome. It's going to be a venue to hold 5,000 people. We're going to have a wave park for year round surfing, manufactured, mechanically made waves. We want to be a destination. But once again, you come to work in Virginia Beach, your kids are going to be able to get educated, and you're going to have a quality of life.
Right. Well, on the drive over, the driver mentioned, I think, the dome. He mentioned that Pharrell Williams might be involved in some of those projects.
Yeah, he was involved with that. And we opened up last night with Three Dog Night. And then we're going to have Benatar. I really want to see Shabuzi. Yeah.
No, I'm a fan as well. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's going to be here September 27th.
All of that.
But, once again, workforce, you have to look at it as a complete package.
Right.
You have to, have trained people working, but also they have to feel like they have a quality of life.
Right.
And, but once again, we got to address the needs. With workforce, you got to play chess, not checkers.
You do.
Once again, we have a good workforce, but the demands that are becoming in the future, you and I were talking, the shipyard needs 5,000 more people.
Right.
And we are behind in shipbuilding compared to China, which has, from what I understand, 440 naval vessels. We have less than 300.
Wow.
We got to get up to speed. But my goodness, how long does it take to build a submarine or an aircraft carrier?
It takes a long time.
And, it's really a big challenge for our country. But we have to embrace it.
Right.
And to embrace it, we're going to have to really step it up with the workforce.
You know what I heard in the conversation we've had so far that I really appreciate, and I discuss this as I travel the country, that collaboration, city government, private industry, the federal government with the shipbuilding. There has to be partnership with everyone working towards that same common goal. Now, you're doing your part in city leadership and making sure you have a good environment for people to want to come. You're providing that K through 12 education that the people need, that career and technical education development. But I appreciate that collaboration piece that you have. You seem to be open to it and working with the different business partners, and that is so important.
It's essential localities work with partners, and that's our partners in the state, the federal government, but also, the business associations like the Chamber of Commerce, Hampton Roads Alliance, Go Virginia, things of that nature. And, once again, you can't be an island unto yourself.
Right.
It has to be part of a beautiful mosaic that paints a picture of success.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's next for you and for the city? Virginia Beach.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're an aging city and we have to create new revenue sources, to keep up, to try to keep taxes, affordable.
Right.
And to do that, you have to create new business. You have to create those new revenue streams.
Yes.
And to do that, we're going to have to bring in new businesses. And to bring in the new businesses, we're going to have to provide workforce. Right. But once again, we're also leveraging our university system. We're going very big and heavy offshore wind, right off about 20 miles from here.
Okay.
And, once again, Tidewater Community College has a training program, and, we have Old Dominion University, Norfolk State, Virginia Wesleyan. We have to create that workforce.
And that's amazing. So Tidewater Community College is a great community college system. How are you partnering with them even on the K through 12? I know a lot of states have the dual credit programs. that are facilitating students getting a associate's degree while they're still in high school. And I haven't looked at Virginia Beach, but I think you have a similar program.
No, we have similar programs. As a matter of fact, my grandson Bryce is in one.
Okay.
And but Lansdowne High School, I went there and I took a look. I think they were working on biomechanics. They actually built mechanical hands and things like that. And we have academies for different things.
Yeah,
and you got to give kids a path to success.
Absolutely.
And I think we're doing a stellar job right here on Virginia Beach.
Well, Mira, any final comments would be great. But if you were traveling somewhere else in the country, whether you're in California or New Jersey, back in your home state, or Texas, what would be your elevator pitch for Virginia Beach? Because there's so much beauty here and there's so much to offer, both in jobs and careers and lifestyle and family, that I'm not sure a lot of people would understand. The Pongo and the Strawberry Festival, the air shows. I was looking at air shows the other day because I miss go to Oceana for the air shows and Langley Air Force Base for the air shows, but there's so much here. And what would you say if you're traveling across the country about your city in a few words?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a magnificent city, and we value our value toward national defense and things of that nature. But once again, we want people to come here and be happy and feel comfortable and safe. But once again, to let people know that we are open for business. And this is a great place for any corporation, company to come, whether it be a factory, whether it be a business, whether it be cybersecurity or high tech or, whatever it is. I have a saying now that one of the problems that we've always had, brain drain. Kids would graduate and leave because they didn't have jobs. Right. But now I'm telling people, friends don't let their kids move to Northern Virginia anymore. We're going to get you something here. And we got a boomerang effect now. Kids that have left to work up in New York and other places, they're coming
back. Well, and not to mention that, we'll close with, it's not very far. You have the headquarters for Dollar Tree. They're $20+ billion in revenue, still has been here in the city for a long time. ADP has been here. You have some major industries that are in the local area.
And the one thing we pride ourselves, all the mayors in the 757 are really getting along and working collaboratively, even with all the cities that are in this region.
Yes.
The Hampton Rose not only Workforce Council,
right,
but also the other thing, the Hampton Roads Planning Commission,
right,
and we're planning transportation needs and everything. We're working collaboratively,
right,
and that's what it takes to be successful.
Well, and you made a good point there that I definitely want to stress before we end. But in Texas, they have the Dallas Regional Chamber of Commerce, which works with all of the chambers of commerce by the cities across the northern Texas area. And Hampton Roads does something really similar. They see it as Hampton Roads. You've got Virginia Beach and Chesapeake and Norfolk and Hampton, but you all have been working together for quite a long time to make this area a wonderful, beautiful area with a lot of collaboration. So you've been modeling that for years.
It's important that we take away the protective moats that have been around our city sometimes. We got to realize that you may have your factory in Chesapeake or Norfolk or Portsmouth, but a lot of folks live in Virginia Beach, and it works both ways.
They do.
We have companies here where people live in all the other cities. So we have that in common.
Right.
And, but like a good example, we're bringing in broadband now. And it's coming into Virginia Beach, but it's going to benefit everybody in the 757.
Absolutely.
And we're so proud of that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And they're expanding the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, which is just incredible. It's huge now, that expansion.
We can't wait till that's open. And the other thing is our regional airport is really expanding in scope. They're building a brand new international terminal.
Okay. At the Norfolk International Airport?
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible. I see all the work.
They're going to have direct flights to Ireland coming up pretty soon.
Oh, wow.
And right now, they're also direct flights to San Diego and everything.
Right.
And Mark Perryman has been doing a stellar job, really transformational,
right,
with that airport.
That's amazing. I have to tell you, I'm really, really proud of what Virginia Beach has done. As I mentioned, I grew up in the Hampton Roads area. I've watched Virginia Beach continue to expand and grow and evolve and become the new Virginia Beach, and it looks like you're still evolving. But as a place from a workforce perspective and a workforce development, it looks like you're doing all the right things from a city leadership perspective to make sure people have a place to go to work and to build their lives.
Well, we're looking forward to what I call positive the transition, taking our city to the next level. And it's going to take time, effort, and people to do that. And we're going to open the doors and make sure that happens.
I love it. Mayor, thank you for joining us on the program.
Hey, appreciate it.
Congratulations to you in the city.
It. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on I Build America podcast. We are supporting workforce development and initiatives across the country as we try to make sure people have an opportunity to build careers and lives. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for listening to the I Build America podcast. Please subscribe, share, and comment, and be sure to join us next time for more insights and inspiring conversations on building a powerful American workforce. I Build America, building workforce success, one podcast at a time.